Hello everybody and welcome here to Formula 1 2017 for our first ever video on the game on our channel. As we just start the career mode here, we're going to be doing a McLaren Honda career. Now I just want to say here off the bat, this game has already proved amazing for me, purely because I was able to load up to the game and the graphic settings were perfect. The controllers were all set up for my G29 immediately. There's nothing I had to do to change anything. It was just perfect right off the bat. Just setting up the career mode here, then it's going to be a 25% race. I was just deciding what we were going to do. It's going to be a 25% race with full qualifying, and obviously the short practice session is because you can't change that. We will be doing a formation lap, and they will be manual starts. Now, I do 85 in this one, but I do actually move that up a little bit for the next races, purely because it's a little bit too low. If you do have any questions though about the sim that I do not answer in this video, be sure to put them down in the comments below and I will answer them in the next video. Be sure to also like, comment and subscribe, and we'll get straight into the career.
Yes, and I respect that. But my client has a championship to contest. So if you want our participation, I'm afraid the concessions are mandatory. Yes, that's fine. Get back to me when you can. Goodbye. No one ever just signs the contract. Anyway, thanks for coming by on such short notice. I just needed to cover a couple of quick things with you before you race. Firstly, as requested, is a copy of your contract. It's a rolling deal. However, the team reserves right of termination if you fail to meet performance standards. You're second driver for now, but work hard, hit your targets, and I'll be able to sweeten the deal. I'm also looking to get you into some invitational events throughout the season. The experience and exposure from these will be great for your image. Plus, you'll get to drive some nice historic cars. Now then, go get ready for the next session, and good luck.
So that was our little meeting with Emma Jenkins, who's obviously our contract specialist. This is our contract with McLaren though, currently second driver to Alonso, of course. So the starting up in the career mode is identical to 2016. So you get all this information, you open your laptop and you can go straight through to the practice session. So then, going into the practice session then, we have a few of the same practice programs with the R&D, but also a few new ones. So we're going to go into a detailed sort of section in the video about the R&D. So here we go, the start of the first practice session of the season.
Welcome to Melbourne, where the practice session is about to start for this weekend's Australian Grand Prix. The pre-race talking is over. Now it's time for the drivers to show their worth. We can see, of course, plenty of activity in the garages as we wait for the green light to get this session underway. Anthony Davidson, thank you for joining me once again. What are you going to be looking out for once the cars get out there on the circuit today?
Well, naturally, in any free practice session, you can never be sure exactly what programs the teams are running, how much fuel they've put in and so on. So it's important to resist the temptation to draw any firm conclusions from the fastest times on the monitor. What we can do, however, is look for consistent pace over the course of multiple laps. So if someone does half a Grand Prix distance and they're consistently half a second quicker than another driver doing the same, then that's generally a good indicator of a car with a solid race pace.
So then we're going to be starting the practice session. We're going to get straight onto the track, and this is the track acclimatization, which is obviously identical to the 2016 one. However, if you immediately get a purple score, you will be seeing in a moment, you can end the track acclimatization then. So we're going to get around and started on the lap. It's just looking beautiful already as we're down on the track. The car feels are so much better as well. The force feedback is so much better. I can feel the car as we actually go and crash the car on the opening lap. That is because I've got no assist, and this is what I love about it. You can sit there and wait for the damage to be completed, or you can just do what I did, skip to the end of it. But it was fantastic. You could just sit there and wait for the damage to be completed in the pits. But yeah, what I was saying though is that the force feedback, you can actually feel the car. I'm running with absolutely no assist, and I wasn't able to do that in 2016 because I couldn't feel the car, but now I can. This is the end of the track acclimatization then. You can see we're only on lap 2, but I'm heading around, I'm getting everything purple. I've got an absolutely perfect lap. No flashbacks, by the way, so this is literally a perfect lap. I've got no flashbacks enabled for the weekend. Gonna come across the line, and the session is, well, that program is over. So the moment you complete a program, you don't have to continue and finish it. Now we're gonna move on to the tire wear test. So again, it's exactly the same as in 2016. However, of course, you're going to be able to complete it if you get purple after 1 lap. So I'm going to come around to the end of the lap. As you can see, I'm clearly in purple. I'm far enough ahead of the target lap time that this is going to be an absolutely perfect lap. We're going to come across the line, and on my first lap of the session with the tyre wear test, I'm going to complete the program, and that's it completed. Now on to the next practice program, and this was spanned across all three practice sessions, but I'm just putting it into one quick compilation. So this is the fuel saving, and you'll see in the bottom right, I've magnified it here, that I'm having to come off of the brake, off of the throttle, through the corners, entering the corners, because you have to save fuel. And as I'm coming up to turn number 3, you can see I'm off the throttle for quite a lot of time, and off the throttle again, back onto the throttle. So it's all about staying off of the throttle, off of the brakes, and saving the fuel, which I think is actually a really good practice program. It helps you learn how to save fuel. Not that I really need it, because I overfuel my car by a hell of a lot anyway, and with it only being 25% races, it doesn't really play much into the difference of it. Coming up to the end of that lap then, we're into the purple again, and across the line, and we complete that practice program. And now we go on to the next practice program, and this is the qualifying pace, which again is the same as 2016. So we're going to be trying to get that green and get the, well, get it purple in fact, and get the fastest lap that we can possibly achieve in the McLaren Honda, which it's a McLaren Honda. It can't be too high up. Now I did realise that my difficulty was set too low, so by the end of the episode I do knock it up to 90%, which is the master instead of just the expert. And I might be knocking it up further depending on how next episode goes. Coming up to the end of that first lap though, and we will get a purple, no, a green lap. We get a green lap because I actually go and crash it. After that, as you can see, I spin and tap onto the wall, tap again, and there goes my suspension, and I am out. So very, very sensitive. And bearing in mind, I'm running no flashbacks. The race session is going to be interesting. Coming across the line though, this is your race strategy, which is basically a lot like the qualifying. You're just on a race fuel and a race tyres, however. So it's just get around the lap as quickly as you can. You just got to do it over a course of a number of laps. And now this is the reason why this one is so unique, however. Once you come across the line and you achieve that purple, so the optimum what the team want you to achieve in the session, it says that the practice program is over. However, then it pops up on the screen saying you can continue for the final 2 laps of the practice session and then go and get the best time that you possibly can with the more accurate data. I then go back out on the qualifying pace test, get a purple lap time, and that was practice over. And this is now your R&D stuff.
Got my message. Perfect. Welcome to home away from home. We get more real-time data from the factory now than ever before, and it all comes through here. So I have to spend more time checking over the reports and less time hunting you down in the hospitality suite. To that end, Sorry, just a sec. Yeah, Chris, is this important? I'm in the middle of something. Okay. Right. Well, that makes no sense. Have Sarah reset the simulation and run it again. Okay. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we've set up a desk for you at the front here. You can get onto the network from your laptop, so make sure to check the R&D screen regularly. And let us know how you want to use the data that we've collected over the weekend and through the practice programs. Also, bear in mind that the news from the factory won't always be good. Sometimes tests fail, like you've seen just now. And when that happens, we have to divert additional resources to fix it. C'est la vie, I'm afraid.
And with that, I actually forgot to open the R&D tree and do anything in the first round of things. So we're not going to be able to have a look at it in this episode, but we will look at it in the next episode at the start of round number 2. I completely blanked with the R&D tree because I was going to do it at the end of practice, because this comes after practice 1. And I just wanted to get all the practice programs done first. Then you're not actually, well, you are sent back to this before qualifying, and I completely forgot to look at R&D. But anyway, we're going to get into qualifying and then our hot lap for qualifying here at the round number 1.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk, and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
So here we go then, we're going to be starting our qualifying session.
Getting into the next qualifying session, but we know you'll give it your all.
And not easy, of course, in the McLaren Honda, but we're going to try our absolutely hardest. This is in qualifying 1 then, where we'll be able to get onto the grid. We'll even be able to get out of Q1 into turn number 1. We get very close to the apex. We run onto the turf on the left-hand side. 2 wheels within that yellow line though, so don't complain to me about track limits. Now then, you'll see in the right-hand side though, the bottom right, we're running a very new fuel mix to the car. The max fuel mix is only available in qualifying. It's not available in practice or in the race. And it's literally pushing the car to the very limits of what fuel mixture it's able to run. So you can run to the absolute limits, to the absolute fastest. Heading out of sector number 1, already within 30 seconds. Slightly onto the grass. Pascal Wehrlein puts in the first lap so far in the session, and it's the fastest for the Sauber at the moment. We're going to get very close to the outside wall as we head up towards the final sector. Now this was a corner I was still learning the entire day, trying to figure out what gear I need to be in. I learned in qualifying I can go gear 7, so that's exactly what I did. Hitting the inside bollard though proves that I may have cut the corner a little bit, but I don't think it matters too much, because I don't think I gained really too much. Slightly to the left hand side, now going to come through the final 3 corners now, into the left-handed hairpin. Bit too far away from the apex. I think I lost what I gained at the fast super chicane. Across the DRS line there, activating DRS and up to the line, and that was our lap. Now I went to improve on that lap, however later on that happened, so I was unable to improve, and that also meant that I could not take part in qualifying 2, even though I would have qualified in P number 12, but because I retired from the session, I'm not allowed to take part in Q2 because my car is broken, which I find is amazing, but at the same time so annoying. But 15th position, it's still a really good qualifying position for McLaren. We qualified ahead of our teammate Fernando Alonso by about a second and a half there, which why I said difficulty may be a little bit too low. Now this is our resource points that we were still getting, and I still blanked in trying to open the resource tree. Like I said, I'll do that next episode for you. And this is also our rivalry update, of which we are currently beating our teammate 2-1. So then we're going to go straight across, but actually first, this is a team approval, which again is a lot like the old team approval, however it's a lot more of a slidey bar.
Emma here. Just wanted to let you know what the team are hoping for in the race.
Which means that it's a lot easier to get harder, sorry, to get up and down, because you lose and gain so much over every race weekend. So 17th position is where our team wants us to finish. Will we be able to do it? Let's find out.
It's out with the old and in with the new here at Albert Park as we usher in what we hope will be a triumphant new era of Formula One racing. For our drivers, though, it's very much business as usual, as they look to be first across that line and get their championship off to a winning start. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, all closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy racing surface with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake, but a couple of good passing opportunities as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into Turn 1 and Turn 3. Today's race, of course, not simply the start of a new season, but the start of a new kind of Formula One. Anthony Davidson, great to have you with us once again. This is a big moment for the sport, big changes to the technical regulations, the potential perhaps to give us the biggest shake-up since 2014. Very different cars visually and, fingers crossed, much faster as well.
Good thing then that combined these teams put in just a shade over 13,000 kilometres on the clock during testing. The cornering speed of these new machines is absolutely unbelievable. How many lap records are still held by Michael Schumacher from 2004? Well, on the right day, on the right tyres, we might just be threatening them this year. Wider tyres, wider cars, more downforce. I have to say they look great, and the qualifying spectacle is undebatable. Now the big question remains, can they follow? Can they race? Or have these new rules gone too far?
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Kimi Raikkonen's perfect lap yesterday sees him start from pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Vettel, Hamilton, Daniel Ricciardo and Verstappen, Stroll, Massa, Hülkenberg and Sergio Perez, Kvyat, Sainz, Esteban Ocon and Magnussen, a McLaren, Grosjean, Jolyon Palmer and Pascal Wehrlein. Alonso and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
As we just choose our setup here quickly, just double checking that the setup is fixed, and also choosing our race strategy. I also filled up on fuel as well because I like to overfill my car, but I just want to say those intros have been different every single time I've loaded it. Talking about the car has obviously been the same, but as for talking about the track, they've said different things every single time, and it's amazing that you don't have to hear the same thing over and over when you've loaded it 6 times trying to get this episode recorded. And it's absolutely amazing to see that they've been able to do that, and it's really cool to have that interaction, because it just means that over the 10 seasons of career, they won't be saying the identical thing before every single race weekend. So for example, next year in Melbourne, they won't be saying that at all. They'll be saying something different, and I just find that quite cool. So we're starting here on 15th as we're getting to the end of the formation lap. You're able to adjust your fuel levels, which I find really cool on that formation lap. So I put it down to lean, and then I just put it up to rich just before we transition to the end of the session, purely because I want to be in rich for the start of the race. Now, I have had to be careful during some of the races, because when it goes down, sometimes it goes to reverse, and when I activate the clutch, it only goes to neutral. So when I let go of the clutch, I'm still in neutral. And I think it's just a temporary glitch at the moment. However, I've got the clutch in, maintaining optimal RPM. I'm not the best at maintaining the optimal RPM. We're going to get going though. We've got a little bit of a better start than Magnussen, and the car's in front actually. We're closing up to Ocon. Sounds on the right-hand side. We're going to have to hold on the left-hand side into turn number 1. Backing off slightly. Remember, we are on simulation damage with absolutely no flashbacks. A little bit of oversteer on the exit turn number 2. And Magnussen has pulled back ahead to P14. Are we going to lose positions even more though? Yes, we are. Palmer goes through. We look for the inside of Magnussen, but Palmer backs off a little bit, and we've got absolutely nowhere to go. Now we've got Grosjean on our left-hand side, and this is beginning complex. He's going to be able to get through in the Haas, and we're now down to 17th, down 2 positions instead of gaining some. That's the first time that's happened in a race weekend for me. Out of the first sector though, we're going to look up the inside of the Haas, but we can't quite do it and remain behind Grosjean in P number 17. Now we're still quite close to that pack, and we might be able to make a move at some point later on in the lap, hoping to get back up into our qualifying position of 15th. Heading up towards the final sector though, we still we've actually gone back down to standard. Now, I was going to run the entire lap in fast fuel mix, but I decided with losing positions even in the faster fuel mix, I'd go down to standard, try to get some slipstream, and just try to hang on. This opening lap, a lot more tense than in 2016. The car's a lot faster with the simulation damage and absolutely no flashbacks, which I've never done in a race before. Is no flashbacks. It was extremely scary to try and get through without damage. And going into the final corner, the penultimate corner, sorry, we're going to get the inside of Grosjean. We're going to be able to get back up into P16. We're going to hang the outside line. We've obviously got the much slower engine, so the Haas is just going to be able to push much faster along the line. No DRS, no slipstream needed. He's just back up the position into turn number 1. He's on the inside line. We're able to make it around the outside, slightly onto the grass there, but we're up the position. No warning from the stewards for exceeding track limits. But here comes Grosjean once more up our inside into turn number 3. We're going to hang the outside line. There's contact and we've damaged our front wing. It's only an end plate. We can still get going, and I love that about this one. We get the position back past Grosjean. I love that about 2017 is even if you slightly damage the front wing, you don't have to pit like you did in 2016. You have a much more a bigger leeway. But if you damage the front wing too much, you will have to pit. As we've got a retirement, it looks like an issue behind. There is a retirement behind. Yellow flags are out, no overtaking. Pascal Wehrlein is out of the race on just lap number 3. Skipping next lap onto lap number 4. Magnussen and Ocon are tyre banging there. Sparks flying up to turn number 3. They're still side by side to turn number 4. They're going to slow each other up. Going to allow Palmer and myself to catch up. We're heading out of sector number 1 though. Magnussen's got the inside of Ocon. Will he be able to make that move? No, they're still side by side, but it looks like the Haas has only just got ahead of the Williams. We've got nowhere to go on Palmer. Sorry, that's the Force India, sorry. We're going to move up the inside now, and we're going to be able to get that move past Palmer, and we're now behind Esteban Ocon, and we're going to be trying to get up to P14. We're back into P15 though. We're into rich fuel mix on lap number 5, and we're going to get into the second part of sector 2. Really the middle part. Big snap of oversteer though. We're going to be able to hold it here. A third of the way through the race. We're coming up to our pit stop. We're sitting in the Ultrasoft at the moment. Going up the positions of everyone else is into the pits. Coming out of the pit just ahead of us. So Sebastian Vettel. We're going to have to make that turn. We're going to have to take it slightly wide. And the car actually snapped there, which caused us to slide across into Vettel. That is my apologies. The car snapped and I didn't want to spin. Able to hold it into turn number 3, up into P number 10 for now. That's provisionally P15, of course. That's where we were sitting before the pit stops. Now, we are scheduled to come into the pits and stops, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Sebastian Vettel moves to our outside. We're going to have to hold the inside, or we're going to back off. We're going to hold the inside. There's a little bit of contact. We're going to get it on the exit. There's more contact, and we've damaged our front wing even more. That right-hand side, and you can see we're losing positions there. And actually, that amount of damage is actually going to affect our steering. Look at that, much slower into these final corners with that damage. Now, I actually said here they're the same damn strategy, but he said confirmed trade. They were the same strategy, but okay. Now, pit stops, they're another updated feature. You'll see engage pit limiter. So you have to engage the pit limiter and slow down in time. If you get back up, I accidentally shift down to neutral, but hey ho. Now, this is the cool thing, but I don't think it's working perfectly yet. Into the pit stops, and you will see it pops on the right side. Hold the clutch and reach optimal RPM. My foot is on the clutch, but on the throttle, but it won't reach optimal RPM, which I think is the bug. Going onto green now, we're going to accelerate. So it's all manual. You have to get off out of the pits as soon as that thing turns green. But like I said, I think there's a bug at the moment because I can't get up to the optimal RPM before the lights go green. A warning for crossing the pit exit lane there as the rear end steps out on us with absolutely no traction. We are currently in P number 19. Heading on a couple of laps, P number 18 now, because Kvyat is having some issues behind us. We're catching up to Ericsson, who's now made his pit stop, and we are going to be trying to get past the Sauber. We're going to get DRS along the first and second straight. We move to a much tighter line, do the penultimate turn, getting very, very close indeed to the final corner. It scared me how close I was getting. I thought I was going to get even more front wing damage. However, DRS just not enough. Our engine power very, very poor in this Honda, of course. We back off a little bit, but we can still make the move. We overshoot it. We wobble it a little bit, but the Sauber remains behind us. and we go up that position. I mean, I was losing so much time at the start because we even made the move back through. He's up on our inside now. We squeeze him out very slightly. There's a tiny little bit of contact between ourselves and Ericsson. Will we be able to hold that move? Yes, we will, up to speed number 9. The battling in these cars, so much more fun than the previous ones, purely because they're so much easier to handle with no assist. But as you can see, it's taken us all the way until lap 14 to catch the next driver on the track, which is Fernando Alonso. We're going to be in a last lap battle with Alonso. This is absolutely fantastic to see. We want to beat our teammate, of course, because he is also our rival. We also want to get up in our team to become first driver. Here we go then, DRS enabled once more. We're closing up to Alonso. Are we going to be able to make a move? No, we're too far back. I'm not going to risk it with no flashbacks. It's coming into turn number 3. We're going to remain behind at the moment. A little bit of oversteer. We're going to lose a little bit of time with that. That could compromise us, and we might not be able to take the 15th position in the session, which is obviously where we qualified, and also how we can beat our teammate. Coming into sector number 2 then, putting right onto the apex. Kimi Raikkonen comes across the line to win from pole position for Ferrari. Absolutely fantastic, because I'm a Raikkonen fan, so that's all good. Coming up then in the middle of sector number 2, getting right to the rear of Alonso. The dirty air having an effect, but it just made the rear end wobble out a bit. Here we go, we can make the move on Alonso. We move to the outside line. Nope, there's a little bit of a tap. We're going to stay behind. We're not going to risk it. And a stupid overtake past our teammate, but we're very, very close. We seem to have to slower exit out of that high speed chicane every single lap. And I think that's just because we're running neutral downforce. We move to the inside. No, back out. It's going to be all about the final 3 corners now. Will we be able to get past Fernando Alonso? It's so close at the moment between us. Not able to do it. Third last corner into the penultimate. We're too far back to make a move. It's going to be about the exit to the final corner. He's had the better exit to the... He's got a much better run. We're going to have Stitchim DRS. We're going to close up, but I think we lost too much time heading into the corner. We did. We're not going to be able to make it. Fernando Alonso finishes P15. We finished P16. Look at that. Running next to each other on the cooldown lap. What a race though. And here is the end of that event. Wow. What a race though. Final lap battle. And it just feels so much better on 17 than it did on 16.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium. And as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
There was actually no safety car or even virtual safety car in the race, so I think this is just a glitch at the moment.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Kimi Raikkonen takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after that excellent result. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
I think it's got to be Kimi Raikkonen. He's not always spectacular, but he quietly gets the job done. And that's the case today.
On to the constructors then. Ferrari move to the top of the table. After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye until the next race.
So, what a race indeed. And look at the gap, though, between ourselves and our teammate. It was less than a tenth of a second. If we didn't have that slow exit from the penultimate turn, I think we could have got 15th on Alonso at the line. But what a race indeed. As we will then go across into the, back into our base area place thing, hospitality suite, and look at the rivalry update. And then we have a wonderful guy here to meet us who's offering to let us drive his classic cars. So as we just have a little bit of look, we go up with the session goal, but back down with losing to Fernando Alonso. The career score then, pretty simple. Everyone knows what the career score is. It's the same since 2016. As you can see, no flashbacks triggered. Absolutely love it. You know I did not cheat. Here we go.
Is this the one?
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well, not quite my cars, per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but It's the downforce, those lateral G's, you know? The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. And that's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good and, most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece. So consider this a formal invitation. I'll see you at the track.
Well, there we go then. We've just got a formal invitation to drive classic cars, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing straight away, is deciding which of the two classic cars we race. Do we want to drive in the 1995 Williams on the Overtake Challenge on Britain Short, or do we want to drive in the 2006 Renault on Japan Short? And I'm going to go with the Renault purely because it's the only car that I am yet to drive. However, we've still got a lovely introduction to be said for this invitational race.
It's time for a well-deserved rest from the championship for a classic exhibition event today. It's winner takes all, so who will emerge on top in this unique challenge?
So this event is pretty simple. Literally, it's just everyone else gets a head start, and all you have to do is overtake them before the 3 laps are up. Well, the lap limit is up. That's 3 laps here. So we're going to be getting going, and I actually thought originally that the drivers had started to jump the start, because I saw Kaufman moving and no one else at that point, and then I saw everyone else moving, and I thought, oh right, yeah, it's not a jump start, is it? It's because they're getting an advantage. But here we go, off the line, and we actually bogged down quite a lot off the line, and I'm really sad to say that that is probably one of my worst starts. Now, this is the first time that I was driving the Renault. I drove the McLaren quite a lot in other career modes that I was just testing my recording software on, so I have actually recorded this Australia race about 5 times already, and this time I'm just sticking with it. I don't care if there's a little bit of jumping around here and there. A little bit of oversteer though in the middle part of Suzuka, and here we go onto the short section. Not getting the racing line correct there. It's the first time I've run Suzuka short on the inner Formula 1 car. However, I get the line a little bit better now. The flat down, and it's all about catching the cars ahead. So I've got 2 laps to overtake the 4 cars that sit in front of me. Getting it slightly wrong into turn number 1 there. Catching up to Mikowski. Remember, they're in much slower cars. I think they're in the C2s and I'm in the C1s, which are the 2 classes, the older cars and the newer ones. We get up the inside, but that's going to be a warning for contact, surely. Yes, it is. So there is going to be contact between ourselves and Mikowski in that move there, but I'm just going to keep on going. I've already got the warning though, but handing that position back. It's like the AI. It's not like the RD where we have to hand the position back because they're not, well, these are AI, so you know, they're not going to give me the position back if they hit me off. Catching up to Sari then, that's going to be for the second one. This is the final lap. We go the inside of Sari, and you haven't got to overtake 2 people on the final lap. I don't think we're going to be able to get over past the leader, but up past Kaufman now. I don't think we're going to get past Atiem. Okay, maybe I was wrong. We're closing up significantly in this middle section. Yeah, we're going to get past Atiem. Not sure where to go at the moment. We're losing up our grip through the corner. Go onto the outside, and now we're into the lead, and we are going to be able to pass the session with flying colours. And with that, that is going to be the end of the invitation event as we cross the line here at Suzuka. And we also get an achievement for crossing, for doing 10 laps on alternate circuits as well, even though that was only 3. Obviously, I've said I've done it here. So then that's going to be the end. We're going to finish in first place. Absolutely fantastic. So as we just quickly go through our career score and end the episode, I hope you have enjoyed. Like I said, like, comment and subscribe. Be sure to comment down below then different questions that you want to me to answer in the next video on F1 2017, which should be up in a few days time, if not in a couple of days time. And be sure to answer them as soon as you can, because I will be recording the next episode as soon as I can. So be sure to do that. Be sure to also follow us on Twitter for regular updates on the Formula 1 games and other things as well. Thank you very much for watching here today, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.